Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Lattes with Laken chat where I go live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern to talk about goals, planning, and life and all the things. Thank you so much to everyone who is hanging out with me here live tonight. And thank you to everyone who is catching the replay. I really appreciate it. Let's kick it off with our go-to question that we always start with, and that is, what are you drinking? If you are here live, let us know in the chat what it is that you're drinking while we're chatting tonight. And if you're catching the replay, put it in the comments. What are you drinking while you're watching the replay? I just have water tonight. I've been really behind on water the last 2 days. Spoiler alert for my goals video coming next Monday. I did put water back on my power sheets because I just felt like I needed it, and it just hasn't worked so far. So to be determined on that. Really behind on water. So that is all I am drinking tonight. What is everyone else drinking tonight? Or not tonight, depending on what part of the world that you're in. Hot apple cider, 2 hot apple ciders. Oh my gosh, that sounds good. Fall is in the air for sure. Strawberry and blueberry protein shake. That sounds good. Water, because according to your physical, you are dehydrated. I think on some level, a lot of us are dehydrated. Sonic ice water. Oh, that Sonic ice, man, is the best. Sipping on hot tea with honey. Oh, Melissa, I hope you feel better soon. Rest, all the rest and all the liquids. Water, energy drink. Got lots of goals to work on this evening. Hot Theraflu. Oh my gosh, so many sore throats. Everyone not feeling well. I don't know. Something is in the air. My stepdad has had a cold for like a week, and who knows. Water, some chai tea, yum, some more water. Hello, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Let me know, what do you want to talk about? What questions do you have? If it is your first time, you can drop any question that you have in the chat and I will answer it live. If you can't figure out how to phrase it into a question and you just have a topic that you want to talk about, put it in there. If you are watching the replay and you always catch the replay and you're like, I have a question I want to ask, every Monday on Instagram, I put up a question box, and ask me anything box, and you can always pop your question in there on Mondays. Monday to Tuesday, because it's up for 24 hours. And then I will answer that question during the live session later that week. All right. What questions do you guys have? Oh, Ashley, on your way to Aldi for the wine advent calendar. I have been seeing so many fun posts today, and I've actually gotten quite a few messages asking why I didn't post about it. So if you followed me along last year during this time of year, I did go to Aldi and get the wine and cheese advent calendar because at the time we were living in Chicago. So for November and December and a little bit of January, we actually went to Chicago and stayed with my mom and stepdad for 2 months, just with everything going on. We figured if we're going to be stuck inside because it's cold and not safe to do things yet, then let's be stuck inside with family, especially with the holidays. And so my mom and I went to Aldi, got the advent calendars, and then did them as part of Vlogmas all of December. Well, in New York, first off, Aldi's are not super common. There's one on the island of Manhattan, and it's not even close to where I live. And 2, they do not sell the wine advent calendars because of the weird New York alcohol laws. So I could have gone all the way up there and gotten the cheese one. I didn't bother. It's not in the cards for me this year. My mom did go get the cheese ones today. She actually got a wine advent calendar this year from Costco. So that is the wine advent calendar she's doing. But she did go get the cheese one from Aldi today. So hope anybody who was able to, I do know they sell out fast. So if you weren't able to make it today, your Aldi might be sold out. Not of some of them. Of the wine ones, they tend to go pretty fast, but the beer, the seltzer, the cheese, definitely like the chocolate. I got Charlie a treat one last year. So lots of options if you are able to make it to Aldi. Oh, Corey, kicking it off with a fun question. What was your biggest goal wins for October, or do we need to wait for the goal video? Obviously, details to come in the October goals video. And actually, there's a lot that I did not accomplish in the month of October that you'll see in that video. My biggest goal win in October was really the dance show and that's not on my power sheets. And that's just a good reminder that sometimes our biggest accomplishments don't actually show up on our power sheets. So just something to keep in mind. We also made a lot of good wedding progress in October. By we, I mean Sam did a lot of great wedding things in October. So that feels really good. Uma, you're having sushi at 10 p.m. Oh my gosh. I'm always so impressed that you stay up over there. I guess right now it helps because you already had a time change and we have not had a time change yet. So we have a much shorter time difference right now. Oh my gosh. So many. I'm trying to get caught up. Oh, you got your girls a Lego one. That's super fun. From Aldi or from somewhere else? Amy, December daily. Are you doing a reason why story? If you are, will that be a story or a pre-story? So the way I've done it the last 2 years for December daily is I've done my reason why as like a pre-story. So that's probably what I will do here too. I'll do it like December 1st because there's not a story yet really. So I will still start December daily on December 1st and it will be my reason why page. And then on December 2nd, I will do, December 1st story, but that will be my technical day one. That's just how I've done it the last 2 years, and that's how I'm going to do it this year. Charlie is a cat. She is my little princess cat. I feel like I post about her a lot on social media, so I feel like everybody knows. But yeah, she's a cat. And so Aldi definitely they had a dog one too, though. They had a dog treat advent calendar and a cat one. Oh, this is fun. You're going to make advent calendars for your kids. I love that idea. I also know somebody in our Patreon community who is swapping them with her sister. So she's making one for her sister and her sister's making one for her. And they're doing that in lieu of like actual Christmas gifts so that they can spend a little bit more and like, have fun with it. So I love that idea too. You found a ton of advent calendar options at World Market and Kohl's websites. Who knew? Interesting. I told myself I don't need any more advent calendars and I wasn't planning to do anymore. So I don't need to go look. Let's put it that way. That may not stop me though. Corey, do you set fun recreation goals? Absolutely. So one of my overarching goals for this year was do things that make me happy. And that was the overarching goal. And I've put all kinds of things on that list, just things that make me happy. I also think that if you don't want to set goals related to fun and recreation, just making sure that you're scheduling time for it and including it in your calendar, even if it is not on your goals. Oh, the Lego one is also from Aldi. Cool. They have so many options. Rachel, I got the wine, cheese, beer, chocolate, and dog advent calendars. Amazing. I love it. They have so many options and the prices are so reasonable. That's why they go so fast is because the Aldi advent calendar prices are just like incredible. But if you don't live near one, it's unfortunate. It's not really an option for you. All right. What other questions do you have? It can continue to be about advent calendars or it can be about anything else. I knew that was likely going to be a topic that came up today since today was Aldi Advent Calendar Day. It's always the first Wednesday of November, just for future reference, which also always happens to be after Election Day, unless it happens to fall on November 1st. It will always be after Election Day. Last year, that was harder because we definitely stayed up later on election night. Last night, I obviously didn't stay up. I voted, but I didn't stay up to watch results roll in. Shannon, is there a plan for your mom to make a Vlogmas appearance? It's possible. I am going... Well, actually, let me take that back. For sure, she will make an appearance when she comes to New York. So my mom and sister, I've mentioned this in a video somewhere, but my mom and sister are coming to New York for a girls' weekend in December, and we are doing all kinds of fun, like girly things. It's also the first time that my sister will be 21 in New York, so I have lots of places that I want to take her. And so I will definitely be vlogging that, and that they will be included in that. Once we get back to Chicago, I don't know how much actual vlogging I'm going to do because I do want to focus on the time with my family. Last year was very different because we were there for 2 months. I didn't feel like I needed to take these full days off of vlogging with my family or even working because I was just there and I saw a lot of them. But we're only going for a week this year. And so I really want to make sure that I'm focused on them. So to be determined on that and how much of my mom you will see, but you will definitely see some of my mom and sister in the vlogs in New York City. Planner advent calendars. I know that there is one from, why is the name blanking me? I opened it last year as part of Vlogmas. It just wasn't my style in terms of the products that I use planning. I think there are probably more. I'm sure other people can share in the chat. I think it's so weird that there's a day that Aldi releases advent calendars. I know. It is. It's definitely a thing. Elise, are you for or against Christmas decor and music before Thanksgiving? So I think it is to each their own. I am not for other people, it is totally up to you. I do not care. It doesn't bother me when it's in the stores. And if other people want to go and put their Christmas decor up and listen to Christmas music, go for it. Last year, I was that person. Just whatever was going on last year, I needed it. I needed Christmas. I needed the holidays. So November 1st, I was like, Mom, can we please put up the Christmas tree? Like, I'm ready for the holidays. This year, I don't feel that need. I'm like to jump into Christmas and Christmas music and Christmas decor. I probably will still do it the weekend before Thanksgiving, since we're going to be out of town the week of Thanksgiving. We don't leave till Sunday. So I think I will likely do it before Thanksgiving, but it'll be just that weekend before. And then I probably won't start listening to Christmas music until we get back, I think. Don't hold me to that, because I love Christmas music. Emily, I love this question. Who's your favorite cheetah girl? So I think I always just really related the most to Dorinda, because she was the dancer and the choreographer of the group. And growing up, that I was always the dancer. I'd never had the best voice. I was always in the ensemble or helping with the choreography, like even among my friends, or like in the theater world at school. So like that, I think I just always related the most to her. Thank you, Lynn. Planny thing. That's the advent calendar I opened last year. Yeah. Corey, great question. How does Charlie do with the Christmas tree? I'm worried about our new kittens, but can't imagine Christmas without a tree. Every cat is different, is my experience. Charlie doesn't even phase her. She does not acknowledge the Christmas tree's existence. So that's never been an issue for us. Of my mom's cats, some of them do and some of them don't. One of them just like likes to lay under the tree, but doesn't try and like mess with the tree. So it's just, every cat is different, and kittens are different too. I got Charlie in November. So I don't think I put up a tree that first Christmas when she was still a little tiny kitten. Because I was also just trying to deal with kitten. But by the following Christmas, when she was 1, not a problem at all. Oh my gosh, Amanda, I have Christmas music in my playlist, so it randomly comes up all the time. I love that. What's a cheetah girl? So Amanda, it is a Disney Channel original movie series. There's 3 of them that they sing. It was Raven from That's So Raven. It was popular when I was little. Yes, Starbucks holiday drinks tomorrow. It's funny that you say that, because I was really craving like Starbucks today, and I usually let myself go once a week. Like that's the day that I go. And I was like, no, you can't go today, because tomorrow is holiday drinks. I don't necessarily care so much about the red cup, because I probably will just end up throwing it out anyways, but I am definitely going tomorrow to get a drink. Caramel brulee is also my favorite. So that is what I will be getting tomorrow. Michelle, how do you fill out the success looks like section for your do more things that make me happy goal? I'm having trouble with improve my health and wellness. I think that question is really like, if success feels like a weird word to you, like defining success, think about what you want this to look like if you considered it accomplished. So if you were considering like this a check mark that you were going to be able to check that goal off, then what does that look like? Or what is the outcome that you're looking to get from working on this goal? What does that look like? What does the end state look like once you have made significant progress on that goal? So I think for the things that make me happy, I probably wrote something like, I'm filling my calendar with things just because they make me happy, not because they fulfill other goals. Now the irony is that I made that a goal, right? But I know myself, and I can very easily fill my calendar with just like work and like social things, and never just do things because they make me happy. So I think if success feels like too much pressure of a word, just like reframe it to be like, what do you want this goal to accomplish? Amy, when Cultivate Your Life was in person, what kinds of questions, prompts did they give for the table to discuss? I mean, that was almost 2 years ago at this point, so I don't really remember all the topics and prompts that they gave us. I know we did a lot of sharing. like we shared our answers from pages. Sometimes we would share with the whole room, like Laura would walk around with a microphone and you would share with the whole room. And sometimes we shared with just our table. That I know for sure. In terms of like other questions besides sharing, I don't totally remember. I'm also doing it with my friends, and I'm just not putting a lot of pressure on like trying to make a plan for like the breaks. I just am happy to be doing it alongside people that I love. To be determined on if the red cups are actually coming to Starbucks tomorrow. I know the drinks are coming for sure, but not sure about the cups. I'm gonna go and get a drink for sure. Lisa Marie, are you going to give the Moxie Life Daily a try? I definitely am. Now that I've been using a daily more with hours and liking an hourly space, I'm not 100% sure if it's going to be the right planner for me, but they are releasing washi that will allow you to make it hourly. But the Moxie Life paper is my favorite paper in the whole wide world. So I will definitely be giving it a try. Yeah, the salmon color, I also really like that teal color. So I don't know yet. To be determined. Although, in case I haven't mentioned it anywhere, I'm definitely using the green power sheets next year and not the neutral ones. Somebody in my DMs, I don't remember who you were, gave me the best argument that convinced me, that talked me into it. And that was like, the green will probably never be back, especially since they're calling it the 10-year anniversary green. The neutral will likely be back in some regards. So if you ever feel the draw to do neutral again, like it's going to be back. So do the green. And I was like, that's a great argument. I'm going to do the green. Also, they keep equating the word growth to the word green, to the green power sheets, and that just feels right for me. Like the word growth, like I don't know, just feels right. I actually am not getting a Moxie Life box to review, so you're gonna have to check out all the other amazing YouTube videos that will be up next week. Lots of chats about ornaments and cats. I know, it's so tough. So tough. Oh, that's a sweet comment, Tina. Again, we are only going to be there for a week. And now that she no longer lives in the city and is trying to be as safe as possible with her new expecting little nugget, who knows? No promises. Melissa, of course, not a question, but can you talk about dealing with planning, goal setting, burnout? 100 zillion percent. One of the topics that I always work on when I'm working with someone one-on-one is talking about quitting and how to avoid quitting, how to get started again when you have found yourself quitting. And one of the number one causes of quitting is burnout, is that we're just hitting burnout. And so our goals are just taking the brunt of it. And even if they're not necessarily the cause, and we just shut down and need a complete break. And sometimes that's just what you need, and you just need to take a break. But avoiding that burnout in the first place is obviously the place that we want to get to. I think with planning, it can come from following a million people using a million different products, especially this time of year. Anyone is talking about is different products, and it's like really, it can be very overwhelming. So if you need to take a break from social media and watching planner reviews and all those things, like please do that, because it can be incredibly overwhelming. Cindy just posted actually a really great video earlier this week talking about how to pick a planner for the new year that has a ton of great information about like picking a new planner. If you picked your new planner for the new year, then like maybe it's okay to take a break from all of the reviews. In terms of goal setting, the biggest thing that I can encourage is to just slow down instead of completely quit. So instead of going all the way back to zero, is just taking your foot off of the gas for a second and slowing all the way down to like 5 minutes a day. Pick the number one goal that is important to you and one action step that helps support that goal, and then work on that 5 minutes a day and let the rest of it go for now. And whatever that time period is that you need, let the rest of it go. You'll keep that momentum so that it's easier to get back into it when you are ready, but you can take a little bit of a breather. Also, in terms of avoiding goal burnout, is reminding yourself that you don't have to work on all the goals all the time. Just because you set a certain number of goals for the year doesn't mean you have to work on them every month of the year. Also, you don't have to set a certain number of goals. You have that freedom to set however many goals feels right to you. And it can be hard sometimes in systems. I mean, the Power Sheets have 8 sections. The Moxie Life has 8 categories. It can feel like a lot, like you have to have a goal in every one of those spaces, but you don't. And so if you need to take a break and not have a goal in every section so that you don't get burned out, do that. And like, here's your permission to do that. I hope that was helpful. That was a great question. Yes, that's one of my problems. I keep thinking I have to fill everything in, even though I know I don't need to. 1,000,000%. And another video that I created last year that I think is still very applicable and helpful this year is 5 tips for new Power Sheets users. Even if you're not new, it might still be helpful to go back and watch that video. It's very short. And one of the tips is you don't have to fill up every line. You do not have to fill up every line. You do not have to have every color, every goal represented, and you can leave blank space. And I know that it can be hard, especially if you consider yourself a completionist, to leave those spaces blank. But unless you have nothing else going on in your life, that's a lot of lines in the Power Sheets. If you filled up every single line of the Power Sheets tending list, unless you have nothing else going on, it's going to be a lot to get through. And then same thing for the Moxie Life, leaving some of those categories blank for a month or a quarter, for the whole year. Like, it's okay to leave those blank spaces to give yourself breathing room, and also really allowing yourself to focus on those other goals. Because if you are trying to fill something in every category or fill up every line, you're going to be making much slower progress, which is fine and definitely an option. But if you have a goal or two that are like your really most important goals, by narrowing in on those and only focusing on those, you're going to make much bigger progress. And that might be what you are going for. So just something to keep in mind. Oh, Michelle, I love this idea. I'm going to record the monthly task after I complete something in November as a to-do list. That's fun. I know a member of our Patreon community does that with the monthly layout. She says she writes something every day on the monthly layout, like something that she did, whether it was goal related or not, as like this is something that I accomplished today. So that is always such a fun idea. And I am a big proponent of writing down your wins all the time. Write them down, tell people about them, and go back and reference that when you're feeling down. If you feel like, oh my gosh, I haven't made any progress, go reference that. Kat, I know you talk about the difference between goals and to-dos. I struggle with that because some of my to-dos can be a goal, from finances and working out to setting up a doctor's appointment, taking vitamins, taking small steps, but I feel like I want to do a whole life 180. There's a lot to unpack here. So first off, I did post a video actually this week, 2 days ago, that is about goals versus tasks. And it gives you 5 tips to figuring out if something is a goal versus a task. The most important thing though, spoiler alert, is that you pick one. And whether putting it on a to-do list or putting it on the goals list helps you get it done faster, that's where it belongs, because action is more important than the thing being on the right list. That said, some of these things, like setting up doctor's appointments, 100% make it a goal for that first time. And then after that, it becomes a task, because it is much easier to upkeep that. Most of the time, the doctor doesn't let you leave without making the next appointment anyway. So the first one, is a goal, something on your tending list. And then after that, it becomes a task. In terms of doing a whole life 180, that kind of goes back to what I was talking about before in terms of having a lot of goals. When we have a lot of things that we want to work on, then it becomes smaller progress, because there's only so many hours in a day. We are all human and we all have other commitments, whether that's work or family, kids, parents, so many other things that you are committed to, that there are only so many changes that you can make in a given week, in a given month, in a given year. And so if you want to focus on all those areas of life, this whole life 180, then the steps are going to be small, because that's just a result of the fact that time is our most precious resource. If you really want to focus in on one goal and then let the other ones take kind of a back seat, then you can make more significant progress in that one area, but you have to accept that those other ones are going to be a little bit neglected temporarily. That's just a matter of fact with what we have going on. So just something to think about. I don't think there is a wrong answer. I think doing it either way can be helpful, but I think that you just have to figure out what works for you and then follow through on that. Samantha, good question. Do you have any dystopian novel recommendations other than the obvious Hunger Games, Divergent? I've seen that you've read some and wonder if you have any recommendations. Yeah, so if you follow me on Goodreads, I have read a couple recently because I just have them all on my Kindle for whatever reason, and I just have been rereading them. So The Selection, I love that series if you haven't read that. I love Unwind, very creepy, but very good. And then Uglies is another one that I really love. The ones I've read this year are none of those. Is Delirium is the first one. And then I also read Matched is the other one I read this year. I also, if anybody else has other recommendations other than the ones I just said, I am looking for more recommendations. So I will take any of them that you want to give or give me and Samantha. Anybody? Ooh, Mackenzie, this is a great question. What do you do when you're super motivated but don't know where to focus that energy? I struggle with suddenly getting super motivated but don't know what to focus on. This literally happened to me yesterday, okay? So that is the beauty of having your goals written down. And sometimes for me, that's the beauty of having a lot of goals. Because when I have a lot of options, then when I get that surge of energy, I can go to that list and whatever I feel like doing. Like whatever I feel like doing on that list. So yesterday that happened to me. I got this like weird surge of energy and I was like, okay, so I go to my list. One of my goals for this month is to do some things around the apartment. One of those was to clean the shelves section of my closet. So that's what I did. Pick that one thing off the list and that's what I did. So the key here is have the list made ahead of time of all the goal action step options. That way, when you have that surge of energy, you can go to that list and pick whatever on that list you're the most excited about. Amanda, I typically lean towards the young adult dystopian, but if you have adult dystopian series as well, I'm here for those too. Or just book by itself. I feel like they all end up being series though. Monique, what are your thoughts on using 2 sets of power sheets, one for just health and wellness and one for regular goals? I think, and it looks like you have a little one in the photo there. I think unless you have all you're doing in your life is focusing on goals, 2 sets of power sheets is very overwhelming. Just incorporate health and wellness into your power sheets. You have 8 sections for goals. So if health and wellness is a big one for you and you want to have 6 of those 8 be health and wellness focused goals, totally do that and then have 2 other goals or do half and half or something like that. But I would recommend sticking with 1 set of power sheets and just doing both of them in that 1 set. Kat, any tips and tricks for squirrel brain? Recently officially diagnosed with ADHD. I'm not a doctor, not necessarily an area that I feel like I have the experience and expertise to provide. This similar thing that I think could equate to this is one of the things that we talk about in Accelerate Your Goals is your accountability category. It's Gretchen Rubin's 4 tendencies, and one of them is the rebel, and that rebels don't like to follow rules and don't want to have a plan and don't necessarily want the structure and someone telling them what to do. And I feel like that can be somewhat similar to squirrel brain. And this actually goes back to the tip that I just gave about focusing your energy. And that is always having having a list of options. That way, if you really feel like you need to pivot to something else because you're very bored with what you're working on, we also determined this is very true for Enneagram type 7s. If you get very bored with what you're working on, you have a whole list of goal options. You just go pick from that list and you go do something else. You keep the action going and you just bounce between the different actions that you're working on. Please define dystopian. It's like a futuristic, but like realistic. You know what I mean? Well, I guess that's not always realistic, but it's like if something extreme was to happen, that that is like the dystopian society. Like 1984 is like the original one of those. The Giver is another one of those, but like they become, the Hunger Games is like the most recent series, but it's like a futuristic, like screwed up society is basically what we're going. Definitely probably my number one favorite type of fiction to read for sure. Oh, here's some other squirrel brain tips. Keep a notepad on my desk. So any task or idea that crosses my mind, write it down and you can always come back to it. Great tip. A list is also great if you're trying to relax, help stops the endless scrolling. Absolutely. Keeping a list of relaxing ideas for you, whatever that means, because everybody is need to relax is different. Definitely a good idea. Katie, great question. Can you give tips for holiday travel and packing gifts? First time traveling to family for Christmas and worried about packing. So number one is I pretty much always try to send the gifts for those people to that place. So where if you're traveling to family, if you're ordering for people that are at that location, have them sent there and just wrap them when you get there. Don't try and have them sent to you and bring them with you unless it's like something you can only buy locally, but it does mean more online shopping and less like shopping in person. But that's definitely how I typically operate for our Chicago family is that I just order things online and have it all shipped to my mom. And I tell my mom that the one struggle with this is that my mom's building requires that her name or somebody who lives in the apartment's name be on the box. And then my mom like opens them. And so I can't send my mom's gift there anymore now that they live in the city and in a high rise. I used to send them all in my name to my mom's house. But so if you're going to a house, just send them all under your name. And then she wouldn't open them and she would pile them up for me in the corner. And then when I would get there, I would be able to open them and unwrap and whatever. Another option is just shopping when you get there. For people, if there's somebody that you want to do something in person, for shopping when you get there. Also for packing, I always try to really be minimalistic with packing for this. Let's be real, it's the holidays. I'm going to spend most of it hanging out in my sweatpants with my families. So like not overpacking clothes and then leaving space for you to bring gifts home. That for me has always been the hardest part is like, I never leave enough space in my suitcase to bring gifts home and I end up having to like mail myself a box. So just make sure that you do that. Okay, The Stand by Stephen King is your favorite dystopian. It's definitely adult, more fantasy than horror. I also like fantasy. So I don't usually grab Stephen King. My dad likes Stephen King, but I will give that a go, Amanda. Of anybody, take your recommendations for books, for sure. Oh, Katie, I see your comment. Yeah, going home with everything. So one thing, leave space in your suitcase. If you've already booked another flight, flying Southwest where you get free bags, asking your family, like, I'm traveling. Don't buy me like a big, massive blanket. Like, I mean, thank gosh we drove home last year because Sam's mom bought us these beautiful, fluffy white robes last year. And I love mine and it's the coziest thing, but like getting them home from Chicago to here, and she sent them to my mom. Cause that's the other thing is our other parents will send stuff to my mom's for us. And so then getting it all home is hard. So just like give them the heads up, like, hey, I'm trying to travel home. So like keep things on the smaller side or like wrap a picture of it and then mail it to me later. Ooh, more dystopian trilogies. Under the Never Sky and 1,000 Pieces of You. I have never read these either. I feel like I need to take a picture. I'm just going to like snap a little photo here. Okay. Yeah. It's definitely tough with like shipping and all those things. But it's worth it to travel and spend it with family. We just make it work. And then Sam and I also definitely, if we're getting each other something that's big, it doesn't come with us and happen there, right? It happens here either before we leave or when we get home. Because that's not worth the space in our bags. So it also helps now. And this is also an option, I guess, for you as well. My mom's side of the family now, all the kids, we do Secret Santa style now. We used to, on my mom's side, there's 6 of us, and we used to buy a gift for everybody. Everybody bought a gift for the other 5, and now we only get 1. And so that helps. Instead of 5 gifts for my siblings, I have 1 gift from my sibling that got me. Great reminder. Amazon also has a handmade small business section, which is really great. Awesome. I forgot about that, but that's a really good reminder this time of year as we start shopping for the holidays. I know I saw that Oprah released her favorite things, and then somebody else I love released a gift. Oh, the Lazy Genius, and my email this morning released a gift guide. So many gift guide options for us to look. I need to start thinking about it. I have not truthfully thought anything about gifts for this year. Has not been on my mind. So need to start thinking about the holidays. So many things. The last recommendation, the Lunar Chronicles. So I tried to get into that. I read Cinder and it was fine. And then I tried to read the second one. I forget which one it is. I think it might be Red, like Little Red Riding Hood. And I didn't, I couldn't get into it. I don't know. Maybe I need to give it another chance. But I tried the Lunar Chronicles and did not enjoy them. Oh, here's another one. The Skyward series. 2 books and 2 novellas are out. The 3rd book is coming out this month. Okay. Hold on. Taking another quick snap of the book recommendations. I know that the chat gets saved, but just in case. So many options. Yeah. I mean, I'm all here for the book recommendations. That's I need to figure it out. Are you planning to review Oprah's planner? Lisa Marie, I didn't see that she had a planner. I don't know. I didn't know that was a thing. Maybe I need to look into that. That's fun. So many fun things. Lynn, will you be buying books in 2022? So I have not officially decided yet, but likely the answer is no. I will probably ask for Amazon gift cards or bookstore gift cards for Christmas. And then I will use that to buy books, but I will likely not spend my own money on books. There's a couple books that came out this year that I really, really do want. I could ask for those exact books for the holidays, but again, with the traveling home, I don't want to have to bring books home. That's not where I'm at. So, but I probably will not buy books again in 2022. I just have I still haven't, I haven't bought books all year and I still don't feel like I've made a dent in the books that I actually own that I need to read. So. Roxanne, I'll do anything, Oprah. That's so funny. Goodreads is a great source for finding book lists, easier from a computer than the app. You can browse lists and even search lists. Oh, that's cool. So I need to, that's good. I need to, I didn't know that was a thing because there's some other things I need list wise. Have I started planning Thailand? Oh, I just missed that. No, not even a little bit. We've had so much going on. No. I am not going to this question. Why did you stop using EC planner products? Right now, there's just not a planner from that company that works for me. But I talked all about this in a video a long time ago. If you want to go check that video out for more information. Shannon, great question. How long do you keep the affirmations that you write going, or do you ever change them up? So I change them up basically monthly to try and really match what my actions are for that month. I want the affirmation to match the goal. And now that doesn't mean they've all changed, right? Some of them, like I am planning our dream wedding, has stayed the same for the entire calendar year of 2021 and will likely continue to be the thing until we actually get married. But some of them, they change basically every month. When I redo my goals, I kind of reassess and see if I want to change anything about my affirmations. And then I keep going with them, but some of them have stayed the same. I don't think there's a right answer for how often you change them up, but if you start to get bored, change them up. And know that you don't have to change all of them. There is an alternative to Goodreads called Storygraph. Oh no, Amanda. I don't need another rabbit hole website to fall down. Yes, the to be read list never ends. Cheney, have you ever thought of or considered an exit plan for your 9-to-5, trying to put something together to transition into doing freelance? Definitely something that I've thought of, not something that I likely, I don't know what that looks like in terms of sharing that on the internet, but not definitely something that has crossed my mind for sure. And 100%, this is something that we could work through in the one-on-one. That is the beauty of the one-on-one program, is that everybody's goals are so unique. And so we can work through exactly what that looks like. No one person's action plan has looked the same so far, even people that have had similar goals. And that, I mean, that is just what's so cool about it. So definitely something that we could work through. Send me a DM on Instagram. Which I also was going to DM you on Instagram to ask you if I could screenshot the sweet comment that you made in the Patreon Facebook group. So, and we can chat more. Oh, you're on the last book of the Delirium series. Yeah, it ended up being really good. I ended up, the end, I don't want to ruin it, obviously, because you're working on it, but. Alyssa, great question. You're thinking of reading the Daily Stoic and doing the journal that you can purchase with it. I know that I was reading it. Do you think it's a good addition to your daily routine? So the first answer is yes. The actual book, the Daily Stoic book, is a great addition to my daily routine. And that is what really kickstarted my morning routine, is the Daily Stoic, and being able to have an anchor of something that I did every single day. And now I didn't do it every day, but having something that I could do every day and had a date on it gave me a kickstart to my morning routine. Now, did I miss days? Yes. And I just kept going and turned the page. I am not reading the Daily Stoic again next year because I've read it for 2 years now and I want something different. I'm looking for a different daily read, but I would still recommend the Daily Stoic to anybody. The journal is kind of hit or miss. I didn't love the journal. I only used it for like a month and then was just like, this is not a thing that I want. So I don't know that I recommend the journal because I don't really like it, but I'm also not a big journaler. So that's how I feel about that. But the book, 100% recommend. Bailey, are you doing December daily this year? Sorry if I've already talked about this. You haven't been able to join in a while. I'm glad that you're able to join us. Yes, I am doing December daily again. We talked about it a lot. A couple weeks ago. I'm pretty sure it's on the thumbnail of the week that we talked about it a lot. Cheney, great question. When are you opening one-on-ones again? So one-on-one is always open to sign up for. The next available opening would be to start the week of December 6th. So right now I'm booked out until December 6th. But you can always reach out and reserve a spot to start on whatever day it is that we're working on starting on. And I do mention this in the weekly vlog I'm filming this week, but I will, once we hit January 3rd, that week of January 3rd, I'm not going to start anybody after that because I want to be wrapped up with any one-on-one programs before we go into the wedding. So once I fill up anybody that can start January 3rd, then it will be completely closed until after the wedding. So end of March, beginning of April. So just something to keep in mind. I love this. I'm assuming this is just a topic that you want to touch on. I'm always being told that I'm too big picture or general with goals. I don't think there's such thing as being too big picture or general with goals. I know that everybody in the world talks about SMART goals and says that they want, to be specific and be able to, check those things off. When you have big picture or general goals, the way that I've found that I've been successful with them is that then the action steps need to be specific. The action steps need to be something that are something you can tangibly check off and work on. The actual goal itself doesn't have to be specific or measurable or, all those things. And so if you want to set these big picture goals, but then set specific action steps, it can 100% work. This is a great question. How do you handle others who don't understand, support, or even respect your goals? So the answer to this is different depending on who the person is, right? If the person is somebody that I can choose to interact with and they aren't supportive of my goals, then I'm likely going to choose to interact with them less. Like if it's somebody that I can choose to be close with, if they don't understand or support why I'm working on something, then I'm going to choose to interact with them less. If there are people that you cannot choose to uninteract with, family, significant other, whatever, then it's just a matter of tough conversations. And I think that really explaining to them why it's important to you. If you can articulate why that goal is important to you, it's way not necessarily easier, but more likely that you'll be able to get them on board. I can't say, I mean, there have been goals in the past that I've had people in my life that didn't understand. And for that situation, I'm just like, that's fine. I'm going to do me, and it doesn't impact your life. So I'm going to keep doing me, and that's fine. Now, if it's somebody that like is negatively impacting your progress on your goals because they don't understand, or they don't support you, or they don't respect the progress that you're making on it, then it really is just a conversation and or deciding no longer to interact with them. Oh, Amy, this is a fun question. Do I have a favorite Christmas ornament? Is there a meaning story behind why it's my favorite? Yeah, I have a Christmas ornament. My grandfather does wood turning. That's like his hobby. And so he made me, it looks like a little birdhouse ornament that hangs on my tree. Elise, how long do you allocate for your write your word journal in the morning? Is that still part of your routine? It is. I allocate 5 minutes for my write the word. And so as far as I get into the scripture for the day, that's as far as I get into it. It usually takes me anywhere between 2 and 3 days to finish both pages of the write the word journal, depending on how long the scripture is. So I usually get about 2 done per week. Amy, thinking about the group coaching from you or Club Moxie, when are you starting the small group stuff? So I am planning to kick that off January 3rd as well. Still trying to nail down the details in terms of like what day of the week, what time, all that stuff, but definitely very different from Club Moxie. Like I am not even remotely on the same level as Club Moxie, and I'm not even trying to pretend to be. And I don't actually know. I haven't looked at all the details for the 2.0. So I don't know what all of their group coaching entails. Our program will be very, very, very small. Like I'm thinking it might even be like 7 or 8 people for this first round, because I just want to figure out how to make it work the best for a small group. So still trying to figure that out, but definitely a completely different world in terms of what they are offering compared to me. Alyssa, hello, I'm a soldier. I'm having a hard time trying to find out whether I should use a goal system. The days are long, variable, and everywhere. Do you think it's worth buying a system still? So first off, as everyone else has also said in the chat, thank you so much for your service. I obviously don't have any personal experience with what it's like to be in where you're at in life. And so I think that any system can help. And I think it is just reminding yourself that you don't have to fill out every page. You don't have to fill every line of every page, and to use it in a way that works for you. Now, if that still feels way too overwhelming with the ways that your days are structured right now, then maybe this is just a season of life where you have one extra goal that you're working on outside of everything else that you have going on. And as long as you have a place that you write that down, and whether that's your phone or a separate notebook or another planner, if you have one space that you write that down, because I think writing down our goals is very important, but I don't think you need a whole system if you're going to spend time just focusing on the very limited time that you likely have focusing on one goal. Also a great tip, maybe an undated would be the best option for you. It's a great question. Kayla, how do you stop Google Cal from giving you reminders? That's a great question. I don't know. My Google Cal does not give me reminders. I think if you just maybe go in and edit the event, you can turn off reminders that way. I don't know if there's a way to blanket turn off all the reminders. Monique, what are some ways to keep yourself accountable for the action steps you need to do to reach your goals? Great question. Accountability is definitely something that we all struggle with. The key here is figuring out how you are best held accountable. I recommend going to the website, The 4 Tendencies by Gretchen Rubin, and taking this short little quiz that she has, and that will tell you how you like to be held accountable. So whether that is external accountability, internal accountability, both or neither. And then you can go from there to setting up structures for accountability. Obviously, external accountability is the toughest to find, but can sometimes be the most effective. So whether that's hiring a coach, scheduling, a in-person workout class, something along those lines. If it's internal accountability, it's like not telling anybody about it and just setting up that plan with yourself and doing the research and reminding yourself why it's important. But I think knowing what type of accountability you need will really help you create that accountability for yourself. Emily, what is the goal progress you've made this last week that you're the most proud of? I'm looking at my power sheets right now. I probably clean out my closet like I talked about earlier. It makes me happy every time I open it now. So that feels really good. And I feel like I really needed to do that. Amanda, what do you do if you have a goal you think you can't do because of past failure? Oh, that is a tough, loaded question. So first off, I wish I had my cup with me. Every goal is achievable. I 100 million% believe that every goal is achievable on the right timeline. And so if you failed in the past, it is likely because the expectations that you set for the timeline that you could achieve it on was unrealistic. That is truthfully, it's usually either a timeline expectation or like some life thing that was out of your control that like massively blew up your goal. Either of those things is something that is going to be different this time. So reminding yourself that just because it didn't work before doesn't mean that it can't work for you now. And so this time, like looking at what you did last time, why you consider that a failure, and then what are you going to do differently about it? Are there different action steps that you're going to take? Is there different levels of accountability? Do you know more about yourself now than you did the last time you tried this? Are your kids much older? I'm saying this because I know you. Like, are your kids much older? And so it's a very different scenario. Do you have more free time? What is about the situation that's different that's going to make it not a failure? And then also ask yourself, okay, so what happens if I fail again? Define what that is, and what would you do in that scenario? What would you do if you did fail? Most of the time, there's an answer for you that you would figure that out and pick back up and try again. Also happy to chat with you about this offline if you want to share specifics. Cheney, what size suitcase do you have up there? You need a decent size one. So these are I have 2 away suitcases. I have the large and then the carry-on. You can't see the carry-on. It's hiding in the corner because I'm packing it. I do want the medium someday. I would like the medium. The large is great. It holds a lot of stuff, but it is very, very, very hard to not go over the 50-pound limit. Like near impossible, basically, if you fill it all the way up to the top. It just is going to be, unless you fill it with feathers, it's going to be 50 pounds. So just keep that in mind, that I can't fill that thing without hitting the weight limit, which is why I kind of want the medium. I want the medium for when I do want to check a bag, or I can check a bag because it's free on Southwest, but I don't need that massive large one. So that is something that I want. Amy, how are you doing with product play for December? Loving some of the ideas. I've watched 2. I did not watch today's yet. I'm going to do it after this. But I am loving the ideas. The first day, I know I saw your post in the Facebook group. I didn't buy that product either, so I can't really do exactly what she did, but I did get some ideas. I really liked yesterday's video. I like that she shared her other ideas that she didn't end up using. I got some inspiration from that for sure. More great advice from Jessica. When I was in the military, the uncertainty was a lot for goals. I used the quarterly assessments during that season of life. Love that. Elise, do you keep your power sheets? I do. Yeah. I don't know that I'll ever really go back and look at them, but I have kept them for now. So that's one of those things that may end up not making it in the long run, but I did keep them for now. All right. Any other questions? Any other last minute things on your mind? I feel like as always, we're all over the place. We talked a lot about books. We talked a lot about Christmas. We talked a lot about goals, as always. But I hope that you got something out of this and that it was helpful. I am going to ask you my last question. You can pop any more questions in the chat if you feel like you need to. But what is one thing that you are going to do this week to make progress on your goals? What is one thing that you can check off? I'm going to look at mine. It's probably going to be to make sure I stay caught up with those December daily product play videos. And then also do the December daily, the other class, the Canva class this weekend when I'm on the train to and from Baltimore. But let me know in the chat. It doesn't have to be something big. If you are watching the replay and you've made it this far, you're amazing. Put it in the comments. What is one thing you're going to do this week to make progress on your goals? I'm also going to get better about my water. Break them down even more. I love that, Amanda. Continue time in the classroom. Emily, I'm so excited for you. And write your first reflection paper. That's amazing. I'm so glad your classroom day went so good. Prep day for December daily. Oh yeah, that's on Saturday. I realized I couldn't have because I'm available all day, but I'm not going to be with my products because I will be in Baltimore. Reorganize your linen closet. Yes. Work on your art tonight. I love it. Start buying holiday gifts. This should be on my list too. December daily, first year using Aldi's products and using your circuit. That's amazing, Bailey. I'm so excited for you. Lisa Marie, team unpacking. You are going to be done by December. I know you will. Danielle, get all my clothes into hangers instead of a pile on the chair. That's a great step. Cheney, finally cleaning everything out of the storage unit. Oh, that is a goal. Participating, I'm going to say this wrong. I know what it is, but I know that I'm probably going to mispronounce it. But so hitting your daily word count, going on a walk this week. One of the reasons why I love sharing all of these, y'all, is I hope that it inspires you and gives you ideas for other steps that you can take towards your other goals. Get ready for bulk pickup. Make a list of action items for when you're super motivated. Yes, so good. So helpful. Clean my shower. It's kind of gross. Well, we've been there. We've all been there. Clean your living room. Start a list of gift ideas for friends and family. Yeah, I need to do that too. Scheduling a donation pickup. I love it. So many great steps, so many small steps that will help you make progress on the goals that are really important to you. If you liked this video, if you wouldn't mind giving it a thumbs up before you head out, I would greatly appreciate that. And if you're new here, click that subscribe button. I do upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday focused on helping you achieve your goals. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me tonight. Have a great night.